That's right, that's Ninjas making top 8 out of the Winnipeg Regional. Don't be like the 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. This regional is fire. Kashtira is your highest represented deck in terms of this top cut. Are any of us surprised when I tell you that? No. Kashtira has become the new tier elements in a sense, but it is way more beatable and manageable. It's easier to do than the menace that was tier elements. But the biggest thing that I find very interesting out of this is simply the fact that when we get into the rogue category here in a second, you'll be pretty impressed. We also had one branded deck. Branded actually kind of edged out a lot of the competition here for this event, showcasing that, while the deck is still very good, it still does suffer from some issues that you would kind of see in a lot of the format. Now, the interesting things, we also had Drytron out here. Now, Drytron has been waking up now that Bysteals have kind of returned back to dormancy here, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The fact that the ritual deck has found new ways or new life per se to kind of start returning back to the metagame has been an incredibly good thing. I will say that I am still very happy to see the Drytrons doing its thing, and players still don't know how to play against it, which is kind of interesting. We also had a branded Eldritch list in the top cut, which I'm incredibly excited about that, all right? The fact that we do get branded Eldritch to showcase its power for this regional, absolutely amazing. And then, of course, the main reason why I wanted to cover this regional was I saw in Decklog Neuron, that there was a Ninja deck that got 7th place. I went and confirmed everything, and it did in fact actually happen. Ninja did top a regional. You know, we always hear all sorts of cool stories out here about Rogue doing well. I mean, we had, a Nordic Beast deck top quite some time ago, and that was awesome. So this is just another one to add to the list of awesome. Let's pass on over to the top deck list. Winning our regional here is none other than Kashtira. I swear, every time we get the chance to see Kashtira do its thing out here, you should be no shocker to this. Now, this build is sporting off crossout designators. Now, we have seen crossout be an option that players have decided that they want to do, or some builds that will opt not to. I mean, your biggest thing that you really need to consider here with the crossout here is your other sub options. You're going to be losing some stuff. So and by including these, you lose like access like Book of Moons, Forbidden Chalices if you would normally want to put them in. It comes down to what you would want to do, but you do get immunity from Nibiru and whatever splashable one-ofs that you want to play. Also, in the mirror match, this opens up an interesting dynamic that you're able to stop your opponent from having access to particular certain effects, which can actually devastate your opponent quite a lot. But nonetheless, the sauce for this list is, in fact, the crossouts. Next up is your branded Eldritch deck. Now, what's so very unique about this list is we are still packing in a very large Bysteel package in here. I would say that this is more attuned to effectively just a splash Eldritch package in here versus what we've seen in a lot of the other previous builds. And yes, we are playing Fusion Deployment. When I first saw this list, I was like, Fusion Deployment out the Golden Lord off of the Eldritch the Golden Lord. You can't even do that, just kidding. Man, the biggest thing you're doing for this is, Fallen of Albaz, whatever other specific piece that you're going to really want to do here is going to be very, very important to you as well. But outside of that, I mean, all of your moving pieces in here are incredibly, I don't know, I think this list is very unique in the sense of, most of your standard Eldritch variants would just play, like your small package of this, 1 or 2 Fawn of Albaz, maybe the occasional Aluber, but this build chose to extend way further out. We're even accessing Illusion of Chaos here with your Magician Souls, and then we're relying on the Bysteel package here for more value off of the dump as well. So you can set up, Branded Regain and the Branded Beast here. We're also playing Branded Banishment in here as well. In terms of, gameplay and power for this, I think there's a lot to kind of say about this list for what you can do versus your opponent. I mean, we're also playing the Blazing Cartesian here as well, another card that you can access off of, Fusion Deployment here. You're also even sitting on the Golden Land Forever. So whatever your Branded Fusion is dumping, whether it be Golden Lord support, you're going down this path, you have a lot of value that you'll be able to generate off of your dumps. And that's actually kind of interesting at the end of the day for your value being generated for this. Pretty cool. Next up is our Drytron list. Hi, we're playing Choju of the Trillion Hands. If you haven't been keeping up, Choju here has become pretty much a mainstay as of late in this deck. The fact that it adds a ritual and a ritual spell, so you're getting 2 cards. Yeah, it's a tribute monster, but I mean, who cares at the end of the day? The whole value train on this is you go ahead and deploy your tribute. Yay. Not like we don't have plenty of those Drytron monsters coming up here for you to be able to tribute. The other big interesting thing here is we are playing the Dark Rule or No More here to board break the opponent. If your opponent starts to do something that might not be, the best for you or more devastating, you have Cleanup Aisle 9. You have Talents and Thrust to also clean up things. And of course, we're playing an Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon down here as well. Interesting tech choices, but I like what we're seeing here in terms of, once again, developments for this deck. Next up here is our... Hi, Despia, how are you? Now this is more like our standard approach here, but we are playing some Jizukurus in this list. Now we've seen the Lightning Strike Kaiju also touchdown in this deck. It depends on the variant, to be honest with you, for this deck, but for the most part here, you are seeing value because this is a light monster. And of course, the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon has become a mainstay in this deck. This build has opted to play 2 Red Eyes Dark Dragoons, though. That way you can go ahead and punish your opponent even harder. And then we are playing only 2 Crossout Designators here. While the value that you do get off of Crossout Designator might not be the absolute craziest, this card still stops your opponent from, stopping you. So, I mean, nothing like Branded Fusion, the Ash, Yuchi, and Crossout. You just walk away with a smile on your face. That's honestly the best take on this. Next up is our second Kashtira deck. Oh boy, my favorite, Lava Golems. Now keep in mind that while the Lava Golems still are pretty good in the format, a little bit of the value they've had has kind of dwindled. I mean, they're still incredibly good for what they are, but if you've noticed an incursion of kaijus swinging on into the format here, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It really just depends on how the rest of the format's kind of doing here, but well, I guess your matchups too. We're also playing the Forbidden Lances here for defensive options, and of course the Ogre to search for the preparation. I will tell you that the value that you are once again getting off of these is incredibly good. Then I see that we are also playing Goliath, the Donner here, and of course the Lingaribo, because our matchups can be a big pain in the butt. Alright, well, that pretty much summarizes the Kashtira experience. Then we have the Ninja Duelist. Sporting off, how many books can you fit into your deck? Now, big shout out here to Jesse Cotton from our duelist here, talking about how the extra deck had been perfected by Jesse here, and kind of setting things up, and then some consideration for some other card choices in the list as well. Do keep in mind, once again, books are going to be amazing options. You only play 1 of the equip. Your Ninjitsu arts, these are all pretty standard in my knowledge of the deck. And then of course you play the 1 white dragon ninja over here. You have the 1 yellow dragon ninja, and then you also play the 1 super ninjutsu art of transformation here via your side deck. Now, one other interesting thing here is we are playing the Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. If you've been kind of paying attention to the format here, this card has heavily had a place in the format here as of late. It has definitely been a more recurring theme here. I do think that we will continue to see Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, honestly, as long as Kashtira probably continues to be a deck in the format. Give or take, we'll have to wait and see, but this has been one of the more saucier things that I think that we've had the chance to see. So, outside of your ninja experience here, looks fantastic, by the way. I'm happy to see that we are getting more success out here with ninjas overall. So what do you think about the breakdown for the Winnipeg Regional? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and of course, I look forward to seeing what other interesting things will come. Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.